Hey Scuba fans, Scuba Hacker's on a bit of a roll today, so here's another video. And also I've got my wife Essen coming back from Turkey tomorrow, so that's going to mean quality time with Essen and no hacking Jones. Okay, so what we're going to show you is the lab, and then we're going to show you what's going to be new for the lab at some point, hopefully later in 2023. So let's have a little look around. You better not mind the mess. If you do, then go and watch Marie Curie or some other Keep Tidy channel. It's not even a name. Kondo, that was the name. Right, let's show you around. It's going to be a brief one. Let's show you some interesting hacker things. Okay, we'll start off with the DeLorean, which I got recently from Ram's Collectibles in Herne Bay. This is a beauty. Oh yes, look, the wheels go up. Mr. Fusion at the back there, lovely. Next, the plasma ball. So I'm a total geek. When I was in the first year at university, why did I spend £100 on the plasma ball? Because I was inspired that it was a bloody good thing to look at when you're getting stressed over homework. Anyway, the thing is, I've never actually seen one which looks like the Aurora Borealis, which if you look at my other videos, that's what it looks like. It's not like sparkly, crackly, death rays coming out of it. It's just lovely green, blue and red colour. Right, next one, really cool retro type painting, which Essen got me. Then we've got Crash annuals. So Crash was a flipping great magazine back in the 80s, and Chris, I just can't remember his name. they've basically resurrected it, and they've now got a modernised version of it, which is lovely. So various books, stuff for interesting astronomy. I say retro gaming, ZX Spectrum Next. We're going to have a whole channel probably about this one. Go and have a look. Just do a little Google for Spectrum Next, and you'll see what I mean. Stuff about coding. This one's actually my wife's. Slaying XL Dragons. Yeah, I should read it sometime. It's probably quite amusing. Yeah, so there you go. There's a few books on coding and stuff. Then we go down here, Bubble Bobble. Anyone who knows the arcades in the 80s doesn't need any explanation. Of course, this guy, Sonic. Let's light up Sonic. Oh, look at that. That cheers the soul. What else we've got further down here? We've got some dive books. We've got lovely little scientist. So along with Doc Brown, I think I must channel this guy. This was from Cologne at Christmas time. It's lovely. So a little look over here. Hacker Man's organisational stuff, and then we've got some other things. Awesome joystick that's not been used enough for Elite Dangerous and for Microsoft Flight Simulator. Maybe a bit of a superfluous purchase considering I don't really play it much. Next, Canon 70D. He's going to get used more now we're doing videos. Next, oh, this is a good one. That's a model. It's a real radio controlled car copy of my car out there. Oh, you can't really see it. The Zeti, same colour, and actually, amazingly, it's the same version with dual pipe. God, amazing. Right, that's some artwork by Oliver Frey. He's passed away unfortunately now. It's a lovely bloke. Did all the artwork for Crash, Zap magazine for Commodore 64, and also Amtix, which was for Amstrad back in the 80s. And then we've got the mothership's computer setup. So we've got a Dell, old school, 1920 by 1200 resolution. That's good because it's a traditional, not quite so wide screen as all machines you get now, and that means it's good for classic retro computing and stuff. What is that? Get ready to be blinded. And that is only half power. Okay, so I've suffered from SAD before. So in the murky winter in the UK, especially living in London as opposed to Bournemouth where I grew up, there's a lot more cloud, it's dark. This guy wakes you up, it sorts your body clock out, and it helps well-being, so I love it. 2 speakers, used to have a sub with that, had to replace it. There's my replacement, the sub burnt out. There we go, little stack, got that last week. I haven't learnt I haven't basically got my tolerance level of looking for things at the moment, at which point I will definitely spend the time to label them up. What have we got here? Makers Labs. I'll talk to you about that on another one. These are the button schematics, so you'll find out that later. iMac 27-inch. This one's from my mate Jules. This is an iMac 20-inch from like 2011, 2012. I've repurposed that for Linux Mint and it's working lovely. Electrical musical keyboard, which I should play more. Pressure pop just lurking around. Anyway, so there you go, the lab. Not bad. Local artist quality. This is Essence, which we brought from Turkey. Reminds us of our marine interests. And a light from Turkey there as well. That's a really nice one. Essen brought that over here. So that's it. That's the lab as it is today. So what's up with the lab? I love it. It's not big enough though. Where would I put a 3D printer in there? Let's come upstairs. Scuba Hacker liked to board his loft out proper. So we've got Celotex under here, proper installation. We've got rock wall, then we've got Celotex, and then on top of it we've got chipboard. It's a daddy. Look at this. Look how thick that is. That's all installation under there. Anyway, that's because I grew up and we had a flat. We had no loft, nowhere to store stuff, so we always had stuff everywhere. Jam in the drawers, everywhere. So this is actually a bit untidy right now. I've come up here and I pulled a few things out earlier. But there's one problem with up here. It's dusty. Why? Because, ooh, what's that? This is a 1938, 1935 house. It's really well built, but as you can see, there's the tiles. Oh, there's no membrane under the tiles. So what does that mean? It means that dust comes through, and that's why this is dusty. So what I really want to do is I don't want to convert this into a bedroom because of building costs and the fact that I don't need an extra bedroom. We've got no kids. It's a lot of money to spend, and I might not even get it back when I sell the house, and who knows when that would be. So why don't we convert it into an awesome maker's lab? We don't have to get planning permission because we're not going to change the function of the space. It's not going to be a living space. It's going to be a making space. So what do we need for that? We need some windows. So we'll get some Velux windows, of course, automated with Arduino or Raspberry Pi. I think maybe 2 windows here and here. If we can get one or two on this side as well, that would be perfect. I love proper quality daylight. And then, guess what? To get a membrane in there, you have to have a new roof. So the timbers are all okay. So that means basically retiling the roof. So here in the UK, we have tiles mostly. They're clay, and they weather well. This roof has lasted 90 years. And when I moved in 2006, the surveyor said, "Oh, your roof needs replacing soon." Well, I get a roofer to come up here every couple of years or 4 years or something, and I say, "Does my roof need doing?" "Nah, you don't need it. Don't need it." And then maybe a couple of years ago, someone said, "Well, you've got really soft tiles at the top. It's going to be needing doing soon." And then we've had 1 or 2 little minor leaks in the last winter. You can see the stuff like that lurking around, which isn't much, but I don't like it. I think it's probably come time to re-roof. That means we can re-roof, we can then put a proper membrane on, we can get nice windows put in, we can have some solar panels put in, we can find somewhere for a battery to go, maybe here, but if it's really heavy, probably in the garage or maybe stuck on the wall somewhere outside. So that's what I'd really like to do, because then this space, which won't have any of the structural stuff changed, can have the likes of a 3D printer, a laser cutter, a vertical drill, right? Flatbed, that sort of thing. I'm not going to have a bandsaw or anything like that because that's just silly. It's going to get dust everywhere. I'm trying to get rid of the dust. So that's what I'm thinking of doing. And you can see my half-hearted effort many years ago, and I mean over 10 years ago. I started putting this brown paper up which actually survive very well. So what it does is it catches the dust and it lets it go down the back. And the point of using brown paper is if you have a leak in your roof, it doesn't trap it, and you get to know that there's a leak because you can see the paper's changed its colour. So that's why I did it, and then I didn't do it anywhere else because I got a bit sick and tired of doing it, and also trying to do up here at that angle is a bit difficult. So yeah, so I didn't do it. So the stuff which lives over here on this side doesn't really get dusty, but I want it for the whole thing, you know. And then that means it's better for the air up here as well. What I did do very early on was get some monstrous lights up here. So those are all LEDs. Those are LEDs. That's a original. No, it's not. It's an LED, but I've changed it. Yeah, it was an old school one. So it's always nice and bright up here. I love to have natural light, especially. But if I can't have that, I want to have really high number of lumens to keep me happy chappy. So what else have we got up here? Oh, this is a blast from the past. TiVo. So American friends might know this better than my UK friends. But basically this was what used to be a PVR. So it allowed you to record TV onto hard disk, and it was groundbreaking. It was the early 2000s. Nowadays it has an Atari ST FM in there. Usually has an Atari STE sat on top of it. That one's downstairs. I've got plans for that. Then we've got various bits and pieces going all the way around here. Atari discs by the 1,000 almost, 3.5-inch discs. So yeah, that's about it. Right, well, that's what I'd like for this space. I'd like to have it so that I could do the sort of things which you need to have some space for. I would like some infrared space heaters up here, like you have in pubs outside. Those are like these infrared things which look like normal halogen lights, but what it means is in the winter time I could be up here and I could do it without freezing myself off. So yeah, that'd be cool. And then because we've got windows, we can have ventilation properly, we can make sure it doesn't get damp, and I think it would be great. And also, if we get windows which are big enough, I can bring my telescope up here and we can have a good look at the stars as well. That would be perfect. So there you go. Not going to do anything about this ladder. I think it's fun having a ladder anyway, but if I'm going to build stairs, you might as well put a room up here. I don't want to do that. It's an over extravagant waste of money in my case, for me and my wife, if we don't need an extra bedroom. So there you go. That's what's going to happen with the lab sometime. And in the meantime, what else have we got? Raspberry Pi. Ooh, Raspberry Pi 2B. Bought in the pandemic. I wanted something which was nice, low energy consumption. So I avoided the Pi 3, 4. And also, I basically just want it to run Diet Pi, which is a very lightweight version of Linux, based on Raspbian. Very easy to install and uninstall software using a menu-based system. You know, I'm a techie at heart, obviously, but you know what? I don't want to deal with tech when I'm interested in having music in the bathroom. I don't want to deal with an operating system, and I want to leave it on all the time and never have to think about it. Right? Certain things in life which I don't want to touch Linux for. Right, there we go. Now we've got our gigabit network. I had a TV aerial man come and put Cat 6 in everywhere when we moved in 2006. It's been golden. It's one of the best investments I had. It only cost about 500 quid, his labour time. So yeah, I mean, we can have a server up here if I wanted to. Yeah, so that's it. And if we have a Maker Lab up here, obviously we'll be getting some more good stuff. So I can't show you what's inside there at the moment, but basically Raspberry 2B, it's got an audio DAC on it, so that the audio coming out here isn't on the, you know, the built-in headphone socket, because the quality of that isn't very good. Once you put it through an amp and once you put it through some decent speakers, you can hear the crackle and stuff on it. I'm no audio purist, but it just sounds so much better with one of these Pimoroni cheap, like £7 audio DACs. Stick it in there as a shield, and there you go. Had to make a new hole. Apart from that, no problem. So what I run on there is SharePlay, which is an open source version of AirPlay. That means I can play any of my iTunes, anything which is on my phone, an Essence phone. We can just cast it to AirPlay, and then have it play in the kitchen, in the bathroom, which is cool. And then I've also got Pi-hole on there. And what that does is it basically blocks adverts. It blocks scammers' websites. So what it does is it intercepts every request for a web page, and if it recognizes that this web page is on a list of blocked websites, which can be like 250,000 websites that use it, it's got on its list, it says no, I'm not going to load that. Instead of loading from the internet that website, it returns a blank website. And so what will happen then is your newspaper website or whatever will go and just show a blank piece or blank square on the page. And the thing is that these sites need to have advertising, but especially IT websites, it's so intrusive. If I'm doing some research about Kafka or whatever it is, I don't want to be so distracted that I can't really read and concentrate on the material. So sorry guys, I'll block you. If I'm doing something like that, deep research, and I don't want it distracting, Pi-hole, engage. I'll turn it off if I'm going on some website, which I don't mind, but more to the point, if it won't load. So there you go, Pi-hole. Very, very low power consumption, maybe 3 watts, 2.5 watts. This guy, low energy. If you haven't got stuff actually communicating on a port, it shuts it down. So yeah, it's all good. And I've got one of these, very similar, coming today to go in the garage, because I've got this super bit of high-tech trading stuff to go in there in a few weeks' time. And it costs 15 quid. So there you go. There you go. That's where the lab's going. Hit me up in the comments. Bye.